My name is Dolph. Monkey Crab Legends of Awesomeness. Nice. Yeah. It just makes me more of a piece of shit because I'm using the weapon of the really nice giant that I've slaughtered in cold blood. My name is Dragon and you'll do what I say. My name is Monkey Crab, you'll do what I say. Yeah, my name. Yeah. I meant to grab one, but I never did. My name is Crab and you'll do what I say. I don't know. Cable box. Yeah. My name is Droop, and you'll do what I say. What? It disappears if I go over here? That's turd. No, just when I get summoned through this. Oh, I can check. Do I have... I don't think I have the thing to invade people. No, I don't. I don't even know where you get them. My name is Droop, and you'll do what I say. Droop, Droop. My name is Come, and you'll come on my side. Come. 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 Oh shit, he's alive. How are you alive? Stop that. My name is Droop, and you'll droop when I say. Come on, fight me. Come on. Get fucked. Wait, I want that. Damn, that's gay. Yeah, I got one too. Oh wait, are you talking about the swirly ones that they hold? Yeah, I thought you were talking about the throwing ones. So I had to say like everyone got that. How do I actually get over there? Are you like eating an apple? What is so crunchy? Oh. Yeah. Maybe. Wait, where am I going? I need to go to the bonfire to warp. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. For some reason I was having more luck there, even though I barely got summoned. Can you just get over here instead of having a seizure? Oh, are you serious? Fucking puss. Okay, just don't let me get a backstab. There we go. My name is Droop, and you do what I say. Droop, droop. Guess I'll find shitty videos to watch while we wait again. Yeah. Let's hear this one. That's not what I wanted.
Let's make some trees.
Now for the real shit, dickweed.
I definitely want to do Defunct Clan, but I saw this earlier. Apparently he made something on Disney Quest. This tickled my nutsack real hard, because Disney Quest, I loved.
The fuck is Disney Quest?
I used to go to Disney Quest as often as my parents would let me. This was the fucking innovator of gaming. Like, this shit was so cool. It was a 5-story arcade just filled with chaos. Prepubescent hormones throughout the air. Everyone just enjoying cutting-edge technology. Like these goofy fucking games. It was so fun. So, I'll give you a brief lore update. Disney Quest was taken down in 2016. They demolished Disney Quest to put up a fucking NBA experience where you go and just play basketball, like you shoot 3-pointers. You pay $20 to shoot balls, and then it's a merch store, so you just get like NBA merch, and then you can shoot 3-pointers a little bit. It's fucking terrible. It's dog shit. I like basketball, but I don't know why I would pay fucking $20 to just shoot 3-pointers. It's dumb. But Disney Quest, in its death throes, like when it was on its way out, was one of the saddest places you could ever go. I went 5 months before it closed, and I didn't know it was on its way out. I went in late 2015, and it was fucking sad. Half of the games didn't work. There were actual shit stains all over the floor. It hadn't been cleaned in so long, and there was only 4 employees that I could count on all 5 floors. It was absolutely disgusting. It was so sad to see it in that state, man. But I wish instead of demolishing it, they just upgraded it. Like, it's still such a good idea. A 5-story arcade is so cool.
However, Disney Regional Entertainment was not even created until over a year after the GameWorks announcement. So did Disney copy the idea? Certainly not the first time.
Yeah, fuck yeah, they did. Disney.
CEO Michael Eisner.
They'll steal shit, who gives a fuck?
Out of all of the entertainment
That's what they do,
concepts
baby.
in the 90s, these parks.
The birthplace of let's party tonight.
The locations hadn't even been announced. So why expand into an emerging...
I still have that. Hold on. This is one of my prized treasures. Oh yeah. This is where it all began.
Finish your midday without
Oh, Jesus.
Stop.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck is this garbage? Go away.
The humble beginnings of Charles's music career, Disney Quest. Let's party tonight. Oh, it's fucking so good. Buy 6 pounds of chocolate. We're gonna lose control. Yes, sir, and lose control we did. That place is fucking buried now. Well, I don't have a CD player. I mean, I made a video with it. For the excerpt, I guess. Oh, yeah. This song slaps. This song fucking slaps so hard. Woo! So at Disney Quest, you could make your own songs, and this is what I came up with. And a DJ too. Uh-huh. Is this actually you singing? I was 8 years old. Yes, it was me singing. Such a good song. I mean, that song is timeless. That's up there with the greats, like the Bohemian Rhapsody for kids. God, what a good song. Thank you, Disney Quest. Sample it for a gentleman song. I actually wanted to. I still do. I wanted to turn it into a Doom-style song and come up with like a crazy, violent, hyper-hardcore, gory music video for it.
Though it had been implemented in specialized use for fields such as medicine and engineering
I think
since the
we get tab 6.
1970s,
It was
virtual
so
reality
hilarious.
technology wasn't seen as ready for consumers until the 1990s. The first commercial uses of the technology would be the insertion of virtual reality pods into arcades, malls, and movie theaters. These had horrible graphics, constrained equipment, high costs, and generalized filth. The system in one
So
game
not much has
usually cost
changed.
around $50,000 to purchase.
Take that,
It
VR.
generally cost victims to
That
buy,
VR is kind of
which would be
wacky these
closer
days,
to
actually. That's just
$100,000 to
disingenuous.
purchase and $10
Live
to
reaction to an insane
By the late
pro-critical
90s,
race
these
theory.
were obsolete,
Ooh.
but GameWorks,
What the
and
fuck?
therefore Disney,
conversation. And despite the fact that this event is titled Critical Race Theory and Free Speech, I would
Okay.
talk about neither of those things.
The
It's
Dark
fine.
Secret of Oreo. Fuck yeah. Let's get rid of the white stuff in between, and we just got the dark part of Oreo. Let's see what it's about.
How do you eat your Oreo cookie?
Ah,
A, just eat it like a normal cookie. What am I even talking about?
No, I just
here?
shit myself
B,
silly and
dunk it
rub
in
that
milk
crap
and
up
nibble
my
away the
ass.
soggy portion of the cookie. Do you C, twist the cookie apart and eat it in pieces?
Oh
Or
my
D,
god.
lack
I
out
shove
like
it in my
30 minutes later,
fucking
half
mouth
baked on the
and
floor,
chew.
covering crumbs with 2 full sleeves of Oreos
That's how I
on the
fucking
floor.
eat you,
Just
dum
figured
dum.
I'd ask, for a friend. Me, I'm probably more of a C type of guy. Definitely C.
What the fuck? Okay. Just get to the part where we're like talking about Oreo having children hidden in the basement. Yes.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Food Theory, the show that's here to fill your brain with the most stuff.
Bash
People often ask
my
me, Matt,
head
why do you want to
into
ruin my childhood?
wall.
Year after year, channel after channel, episode after episode, you go out of your way to undermine everything I love about Disney and Nintendo and now even Kool-Aid. Why? Well, here's the truth, friends. Come closer and I'll tell you. Closer. closer. I'm not trying. Theorists, I'm just a simple YouTuber who happens to follow the facts wherever they lead. Take today's episode as an example. I set out to make a pleasant little video about Oreo cookies. I really did. I stumbled across a fun fact about how Oreo spent a lot of money to make their cookies kosher back in the 90s. Harmless, right? I love Oreos. I love our food channel. I love the fact that our food channel allows me to buy things like Oreos that I can write off on my taxes. And heck, it sounded like an interesting topic, so naturally I looked into why Oreo would spend tens of millions of dollars on a
Chamber
recipe
of
when
the
they were already the
Princess.
best-selling cookie in the world. And what I found is that it wasn't just a business decision about dollars and cents, it was a personal vendetta. And from there I just descended down into grocery store conspiracies and big cookie trying to smash little cookie into crumbles, and a cover-up that's been decades in the making. Theorists, it turns out going kosher was
Wait, what? Gravelord servants? What's going on?
That's right, I said sandwich cookie feud. And I'm not so sure that Oreo's on the right
There's somebody
side
after
either,
me.
because that sweet little fun fact about Oreos being kosher is, in fact, sandwiched between two dark...
Can you go back real quick and see what that said?
Theorists, because while Oreo's cookies may be kosher, their alleged business practices haven't always been. It's time for Oreos to get dunked on. Dunked on, as in dunked in the milk, but also dunked on in the... Anyway, it all begins a long time ago. So here's how this whole cookie feud began. Back in the 1890s, brothers Jacob and Joseph Luce started a bakery together in Kansas City, Missouri. Jacob
Wait, somebody invaded me in my other world and I didn't even know it? Is that what happened?
And formed the National Biscuit Company, today
I
known
don't know.
as Nabisco. Jacob, the sick brother, was not happy about this decision. Eventually recovered from his illness and returned to the States. He decided to get back into the cookie game, but not with Nabisco. Instead, Jacob started the Loose Wiles Biscuit Company with a new business partner, quickly building it up to be the second largest bakery in the U.S., behind, you guessed it, Nabisco. A large part of that success came in 1908 when the Loose Wiles Biscuit Company released the Hydrox Sandwich Cookie, a revolutionary
Hydrox
dessert
Sandwich
with 2
Cookie.
chocolate cookies and a cream filling. 4 years later, Nabisco would release the Oreo, and, well, it was a rip-off of the Hydrox, and a shameless one at that. Like, there is no beating around the bush here, my friends. I mean, just look at these two cookies side by side. The circular shape, the flavorings, the colors, the filling, the biscuits, and that's not even mentioning the design. The name in the center, the ridged edges, the intricate floral-inspired pattern. It's safe to say that the Oreo was made to look like the Hydrox. Heck, even the name Oreo is a jab at Hydrox. It's a reference to the Oreodaphne, a genus of flowering mountain laurels,
I'm
just
invading
like the
someone.
pattern of a Hydrox cookie. And this, theorists, is the first
The
dark
Oreos are
secret
what
at play
helped.
here. The uncomfortable truth about America's favorite cookie, nay, the world's favorite cookie, is that it's an outright ripoff of the original Hydrox. Now, there's a fine line between unethical business and good business. Say what you will about Oreo's origins, but the fact of the matter is that it was followed up by decades and decades of good business decisions on Nabisco's part, and a lot of questionable ones on Hydrox's end. Today, the original sandwich cookie has faded into obscurity, while the imitator cookie is a beloved icon the world over, and that's all thanks to marketing. First, we have got to talk about the names here. I mean, why on earth would someone name their cookie the Hydrox? Like, you might as well have named the thing hydrogen peroxide at that point. Elon Musk is master of strange names, and even he would name his kid Hydrox. But what's crazier than the name Hydrox is that Loose Wiles actually wanted for a chemical-sounding name. They named it Hydrox to recall the purity of water, as in the chemical compound of hydrogen and oxygen. See, Hydrox hit the scene at a time when other food companies were literally putting stuff like chalk, sawdust, and even sulfuric acid into food products. So purity was a really appealing marketing claim, and for a time it worked. People loved their Hydrox, and Oreos operated at a loss for years. Perhaps Oreos would have gone the way of Hydrox, but then came the advertisements. You see, Hydrox was annoyed that Oreo copied their idea, and understandably so, but Loose Wiles made the mistake of letting that pettiness creep into their ads. For decades, the Hydrox was presented to consumers not as a delightful, delicious snack, but as the first sandwich cookie. But who cares about being first?
Okay.
What you deliver to the person buying you. And while Hydrox was busy stamping their feet and whining about copycats, Oreos just emphasized the fact that they were
I guess.
It's fun living on a ranch, but who's having the most fun? He's riding a pony, but they're eating Oreo cookies. Delicious Oreo cream sandwich.
Not to pile on here, but compare that outrageously wholesome slice of Americana to this Hydrox commercial from the 80s.
You like a creamy center? Here's a creamy center. Thick, delicious, creamy. But you gotta remember my name, Hydrox. Hydrox. Don't forget Hydrox.
Yeah, that one makes me really.
That one is a terrible commercial.
That was a television commercial in which a Hydrox cookie reveals himself to the audience, then gets arrested for it. Anyway, hindsight is 2020, and from where I sit, it's pretty clear that Oreo had the stronger marketing strategy for
Yeah,
the
really.
entire 20th
Oreo was like,
century.
"Oh look, it's good," and Hydrox is like, "I'm a dirty old man in the form of a cookie."
Anyway, long story short,
Like, what the fuck?
lagging sales around in the mid-1950s, overtaking Hydrox to be the best-selling sandwich cookie, and they've never looked back since. But despite being bested by Oreo at every turn, Hydrox always had one ace in the hole. Its recipe was kosher, whereas Oreo's was not. The Loose Wilds company did make one smart move early in its founding. In 1924, they partnered with the Union of Orthodox Jewish Congregations of America to create
Dang.
the first kosher certification agency in the United States. Hydrox was one of the first to get approved. This move earned Hydrox a lasting commitment in the Jewish community, even to this very day. Now, let's take a moment to clarify what being kosher actually means. If you're Jewish, you can probably skip ahead a minute or two, or, keep watching to make sure that the Jewish researchers that I had working on this episode aren't speaking out of turn. If not, well, shalom internet! Basically, the Jewish religion calls for its followers to follow kashrut, which is a set of dietary
She makes me want to kill myself. It's either watch paint dry or watch this guy make my fucking brain dry up.
There are rules for everything that roams the earth, swims in the seas, and flies in the skies. But the only rule that applies here is this, quote, "Whatsoever it parteth the hoof, and is wholly cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that may ye eat. Pigs have
What?
cloven hooves, but they do not chew their cud. Therefore, they are not kosher. That is why Oreos were historically considered trait for non-kosher. The original recipe called for lard to give that white cream center its tasty, buttery texture. Lard is rendered from pig fat. That's right, what's that creamy stuff in the middle of an Oreo cookie? Well, amongst other things, pig fat. Anyway, lard worked
I like
fine in the
that.
white
I'm
creamy
fine
stuff
with
for
lard.
decades until the public started to get concerned about saturated fats, at which point Oreo adjusted its recipe to use hydrogenated vegetable oil instead. At that point, Oreo found themselves with a cookie that contained fully kosher ingredients, but they didn't have kosher certification because the kitchen and utensils used to prepare kosher food have to be cleansed as well. And for a company of their size,
Cleansed by
obtaining that certification would
God.
be no small or inexpensive undertaking. As Nabisco would
Alright.
need to get their factories kosherized, which, by the way, is apparently a real word. I looked it up. Nabisco knew the price tag of kosherization would be massive, but it would be worth the cost, right? Who wouldn't want more customers in the Jewish community? Well, it's not that clear to the story. The market for kosher cookies is pretty teeny. Less than 2% of the U.S.'s population is Jewish, and a minority of those, only about 20%, actually keep kosher. Worldwide, there are about 14 million Jewish people around the world in 2010, representing 0.2% of the global population. And of those, only 50% stay kosher. So at most, you're talking about maybe 7 million new customers for a cookie that is already dominantly the #1 cookie in the world. And yet, in 1994, Oreo pulled the trigger and began what's likely the most expensive corporate kosherization of all time. Why'd they do it? Well, it's not as though Oreo made their true intentions public knowledge. The company claims that it was all about ice cream. A lot of kosher certified ice cream companies apparently wanted to partner with Oreo, but couldn't because the cookie brand wasn't certified. But really, the choice to go kosher came with an added benefit for Oreo, and this benefit was both business and personal danger. The kosher niche market was pretty much the only thing that their old rival Hydrox had going for them at that point. By going kosher, Oreo realized that they might finally be able to put their nemesis Hydrox out of business for good. And that's exactly what happened. 4 years and tens of millions of dollars later, Oreo finally got their kosher certification, and by 2003, Kellogg's, who owned Hydrox, stopped making the cookies altogether. Hydrox, the original sandwich cookie, had finally been done in by the copycat. That is, until a few years ago when Hydrox came back. In 2015, a small candy company that thrives on nostalgia called Leaf Brands decided to bring back the the original sandwich cookie. A return that would, go figure, also come packaged with an $800 million complaint filed against Oreo's parent company, Mondelez International. And this, theorists, is the other dark secret that I teased earlier in the video. Oreo, after all these years, is still allegedly playing dirty to kill off Hydrox. Only this time the battle's happening in the grocery store cookie aisle. I mean, it sounds crazy, but since 2015, Leaf Brands have found example after example of Hydrox being hidden behind Oreo packages, being turned sideways on the shelf, being shoved to the back of the shelves, moved to the top shelves, pretty much anywhere except for where the consumer could easily see them. Why would that have anything to do with Mondelez International or Oreo brand? Because Mondelez is literally in charge of product placement on cookie shelves. That's right, these days big companies like Mondelez International, who spend a lot of money on in-store marketing, can actually become what's known as category captains for their aisles. This means that they decide how the shelves are laid out, not just for themselves, but also, strangely enough, for their competitors, which is just like the most monopolistic thing out there. It is so insane. It'd be like, why choose Invisalign?
It'd be like, why choose Invisalign?
Treatment uses smart track technology. It moves teeth more comfortably and predictably than ordinary.
I can move teeth too, but it's not comfortable and not painless.
It'd be like letting Babe Ruth umpire a Yankees game. It's like letting a defendant judge his own trial. It's like letting Food Theory choose your suggested video feed. Okay, maybe that one isn't so bad. Furthermore, Mondelez has the resources to do direct store distribution, meaning they send their own people to physically place the products on shelves rather than letting the store handle it. So when a certain product is regularly found hidden or out of place or in an inconvenient position, there's a good chance either the category captain or the person stocking the shelves is to blame. And in Hydrox's case, Mondelez is often both. Basically, these days, the grocery store is cutthroat and there's no place for the little guy. So does this mean that Hydrox is doomed yet again? Has it slipped to the bottom of the milk glass and gotten soggy and inedible? Not so fast. If Hydrox wants to be the little brand that could, ironically enough, they just need to go back to their roots. Just like the cookie, this story is coming full circle. Remember how I said in the early 20th century consumers were really concerned about food purity because of the literal poisons that were being stuffed into the food that they were purchasing, and that's why Hydrox got their name? Well, today, we seem to be going through that exact same process, asking ourselves what we're eating and if it's doing more harm than it's worth. And what you know, I believe Brands is producing the reborn Hydrox using the original Loose Wiles recipe, which calls for all non-GMO ingredients, including real cane sugar and real vanilla. Realistically, Hydrox is going to get way more bang for their buck advertising as a healthier alternative to Oreo rather than sticking with the same griping and borderline flashing that they've been doing for decades. And best of all, we know that that strategy can work in the face of juggernauts like Oreo, Nabisco, and Mondelez. Let me introduce you to Tate's Bake Shop, a small brand of chocolate chip cookie that in less than 20 years broke through the crowded cookie market to give Mondelez, a company that made billions in the cookie aisle, a run for their money. The reason Tate's Bake Shop was so successful was that it was a premium product made with the same ingredients that you or I would use to make cookies. Chocolate chips, unbleached flour, butter, eggs, vanilla, you know, normal sounding stuff, not chemical names. And it worked. People were snatching them up, causing an upheaval in the chocolate chip cookie market strong enough to get Mondelez to purchase the brand for $500 million in 2017. Hydrox has the same advantage, so use it. Why not try something different? And if you don't mind, might I suggest starting with the name? But hey, speaking of fresh, healthy ingredients, maybe you should try something different today, like HelloFresh, the sponsor of today's episode.
Oh my god, that's so
12
cool.
free meals delivered right to your door
That's
with
crazy.
zero delivery charge, no nothing, just free
Sorry,
food
move
awaiting you at your
fast.
doorstep. Well, then listen
Okay.
up. Go to HelloFresh.com by clicking the code down in the description. Use the code
Yeah,
FOODTheory12
sure.
to
Let's
get
just
12
look at
free.
this.
Earn your degree
Burger
faster
King
at Purdue
behind
University.
bars. Are they guilty of what?
175 online programs.
Hiding children, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, I'm allowed to customize my Whopper, right? Great. So I'll get a Whopper, no tomato, no onion, and no predatory marketing practices.
Okay, what is it? What's going on? So
Coming out of some flame-broiled controversy in the fast food and streaming communities. I'm sure most of you are aware Twitch is a live streaming platform that allows streamers to interact directly with their audiences in roughly real time. The audience types comments into the chat, and the live streamer responds on camera. And there are lots of ways for those interactions to happen, with basic chat messages, sending money to the streamer via donation of Twitch bits, and paying to subscribe to the channel for a series of months being the three most common. But there are some other neat tools out there that might not be as well known. One of those is a chat feature called Text-to-Speech, or TTS, where for a small donation you can pay to have a computerized voice read your message aloud to the stream for everyone, including the streamer, to hear. Now, as a denizen of the internet, you probably know how well opening up a free platform to have a random comment heard is gonna go, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. TTS donations, sometimes they're pretty much what you would expect them to be.
I'm a creep that want to see woman in bra.
Hey, that's, yeah. Stop. Sorry about that.
And sometimes, just sometimes, text-to-speech donations are just downright wholesome.
Mitty, oh, you are an absolute ray of sunshine. I love this stream. Have the coffee on me. Thank you so much, Mitty.
But regardless of the motivation, at the end of the day, TTS donations are intended and typically used as a way for fans to give back to their favorite creators. A tool to help ensure that their comment doesn't just get lost in the chat scroll. And that, my friends, is where today's food theory story begins. You see, this past summer, Burger King, in conjunction with the ad agency David Madrid, realized TTS donations could be used to advertise BK's menu. And so they created a campaign called the King of Stream. In it, they went around to dozens of different Twitch streams and paid the minimum donation, an amount set by each individual streamer, but typically in the range of $3 to $5, to have their comments read via text-to-speech. At which point, the entire audience and the streamers themselves were made aware of all the great deals that Burger King's menu has to offer.
Hi there.
Hey.
I just donated $5 to tell you that you can spend $5 and get a Whopper.
What is going on?
In the end, the King of Stream campaign reached a large audience on a shoestring budget and was seen as a success. You know that? Because Burger King's ad agency took the footage of all these interactions and made a best-of compilation proudly explaining what they did. And, you know, did that without licensing anyone's names, likenesses, voices, hence all the blurring and distortion that you see. They never used the word Twitch anywhere in the ad, opting instead for the more general term live streaming platform and the blatant use of Twitch's purple and white style. Heck, they even replaced the game footage from the original streams with Shutterstock footage of generic video games, since they didn't want to license that stuff either. Gotta love all those racing games with speed racing, and faster and faster and faster and faster on all the road signs you pass.
I have donated $5 so I can say that's on the Burger King app you can get a Whopper.
Are you gonna sponsor me or not?
That exchange right there says it all. Are you gonna sponsor me or what? To which Burger King replies, we just gave you $5. See, in the wake of this campaign, two camps have emerged. Team Marketing, who believes that there's nothing wrong with how Burger King did this.
Like it's a 200 IQ play. Brand should have been doing this a long time ago. Hats off to Burger King. I'm gonna go buy a Whopper after this.
And Team Streamer, who believes that the campaign was a scummy way for a billion-dollar corporation to hawk their chicken nuggets for a fraction of what it should have really cost them.
The fact that Burger King has figured out how to do sponsorships for pocket change by abusing a system meant for fan interaction with no prior consent from the streamers has understandably pissed off pretty much every streamer on Twitch.
And while it's certainly true that a lot of streamers were speaking out against the King of Stream campaign,
Where's my ad read? You owe me royalties for that. You took up 30 seconds of my stream.
some went even further to question whether this move by Burger King went beyond mere etiquette breach and went full on into illegal territory by violating Federal Trade Commission or FTC guidelines.
I woke up this morning, I had emails from BBC, Kotaku to name a few. My statement is that, like, if this is legit, it's an FTC violation, and they should not have been doing it, because it puts us in a position where we are airing undisclosed ads.
So who's right and who's wrong here, friends? Is this whole fiasco a complete nothing burger, or is it totally a something burger? Did Burger King indeed pull off a 200 IQ move that'll have them laughing all the way to the bank, or will Team Streamer ultimately get the last laugh, possibly in a court of law? And that, dear theorists, is what we'll be answering today. Now, before I get into the hairy gray area of whether or not this was some form of illegal promotion, one thing that's undeniable here is that the King of Stream campaign was a clear violation of terms of service. One of Team Marketing's arguments in this whole debate has been that if streamers weren't happy with the messages Burger King was reading off, well, they could always, you know, disable all text donations. Except that sort of logic doesn't fly here. Burger King was, knowingly or not, misusing the tool tools available to them. Twitch's terms of service lists unsolicited advertising, promotional materials, or other solicitation material as prohibited behavior. But perhaps even more importantly, Burger King appears to have violated the terms of service for the third-party live streaming software that actually handles the donations and provides the text.
I don't know what he just ate.
See, Twitch is just the platform. It doesn't provide its users with those kinds of fancy bells and whistles. In order to accept donations, a Twitch streamer has to utilize live streaming software such as Streamlabs, which is distinct from Twitch and comes with its own separate terms of service. And it appears that the King of Streams campaign violated Streamlabs' terms of service in a whole bunch of ways too. Quote from those, using the site for commercial or promotional purposes is listed under prohibited conduct, as is displaying an unauthorized commercial advertisement, as is attempting to post messages or advertisements for commercial purpose. Furthermore, the terms of service specify commercial activities and or sales without prior written consent from Streamlabs as prohibited content. I mean, it really doesn't get a whole lot more clear-cut than that. From both Twitch's perspective and from Streamlabs' perspective, the Burger King posts were in clear breach of TOS. Always has been. Now, of course, violating the terms of service doesn't mean that BK broke the law. Sure, from an ethics and PR standpoint, not a good look. But on the other hand, so what? Not to go all nihilist pat on you, but what's Twitch or Streamlabs gonna do to punish them? Delete the accounts? From the looks of things, Burger King may have already removed the King of Stream US account themselves. They got the footage they needed, they got the word out about BK's apps and menu deals. At this point, they've already extracted everything they need out of the Twitch community. Time to cash out. Basically, they pulled a ninja. So, Team Streamer can take...
Oh, what? He didn't even go behind me.
The bigger issue, and the one with a lot more ramifications, is whether this ad campaign was illegal for anyone that touched it. And that's not an easy one to answer, because the King of Stream basically introduced the world to an entirely new type of advertising. Like, what do you call this type of ad? To date, only a couple of companies have tried anything like the King of Stream.
What the actual fuck?
Cash App managed to do it without taking Twitch streamers off the lunch because A, Cash App actually creates Twitch content, and B, it didn't just use the absolute minimum donation the way that Burger King did.
I would say very different, in my opinion, from what Cash App does. Usually gifting subs to streamers out there, there is no message with gifted subs. There's no automatic reading out of what Cash App does. By the way, I've never seen Cash App ever just gift one sub. You're typically gifting, I would say, 10, 20, 25
I got into a fight and lost.
Minimum, which is much more than a measly $5 donation.
Anyway, since the practice is so new, it'd be helpful to have definition.
Some sort of sword with fire damage. He barely took any damage, but he definitely gave a lot of damage, even though I'm wearing Havel armor. You know, best defense in the game. But, well, second best, but... the amount of damage he was doing, the amount of damage he should have been doing, it seemed very different. Fuck no. That game, I can't. That game is just a fucking tumor to me. I really... No, because of how I play it, the game just actually feels like I'm ripping out a fucking, like, hyper tumor from my skin. It's fucking horrible. No, just because of the way the game plays. I don't like the camera, I don't like the fucking way you play the characters, I don't like the abilities, I don't like the moves. Played 5 characters. Wow, why the fuck are there a bunch of characters that just are there to suck ass? That's stupid.
It's clear that the streamers were unaware of what was going on.
I just got a donation that was using...
I expected them to be like the same but different moves, you know, like how Mortal Kombat works.
Had no agreement or business relationship to speak of. Streamers are under absolutely no obligation to endorse Burger King's products. Any streamer who receives a TTS donation is free to do what
you press circle, yeah, sure, like... But all it is circle up or down, or circle and then like triangle or some shit, and it's just like, wow, this is extremely boring. R1, R2, dodge, parry, kick attack, spells, there's all sorts of shit. Plus there's like more game than running around in a circle and fiddly fucking with your asshole, so...
That payment has been made to place an ad with specific messaging, and Burger King explicitly does that with its TTS messages. And from that perspective, things start to look very differently. Because now you're not comparing those $5 donations to $1,000 sponsorship deals. That's comparing apples
I guess they're like
to
circle
very expensive
square.
oranges. It seems more accurate to compare Burger King's TTS donation advertisements to mid-roll advertisements. Because let's face it, they're both ads and they both play in the middle of the stream. I mean, sure, streamers get to select when their mid-roll ads play, as opposed to getting blindsided by an ad whenever the sponsor decides the time is right. But given that Twitch recently began experimenting with mid-roll ads that are platform controlled, aka the streamers don't get to choose when they play, the difference between TTS
I just think that's dumb then.
is becoming foggy to say the least. So toss a couple more similarities onto that list. Both types of ads interrupt streams at inconvenient times, and streamers aren't happy about either of them. And when looked at from that perspective, the $5 donations look much less egregious. I can't speak to the current rates of Twitch mid-roll ads, but on YouTube, for ad revenue, the amount that you earn per 1,000 views is lucky to get over $5.
Yeah, I know.
It's only something that happens for like the top tier channels at some of the peak times a year, especially when you're talking about gaming videos. So depending on how many viewers each of these streamers had when the TTS donations came in, they may have made more from that donation, or at the very least from that series of donations, than they would have from a similar mid-roll ad running in the same place. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an involuntary mid-roll.
I already watched them play the story. I've seen Pablo and Gab play the story before, and it just looked absolutely mind-numbingly miserable.
Is Burger King right to say just take the $5 and be happy with it, like they said in the ad? Because I don't know about you, but something still feels wrong about that. If I'm a streamer and I don't want
I watched the part where he turned into like a giant fox demon, and another part where he turned into a giant frog.
But with text-to-speech donations, it's tricky. Sure, I could turn those off too to prevent Burger King from misusing them, but the tool was intended to be used for community engagement, not as an
But that seems like the best part of it. I would love to be a giant frog, but like even that was boring.
Of terms of service that I keep going back to here. At its core, the King of Stream campaign misused community engagement tools to broadcast their message in the middle of an ongoing piece of content, regardless of whether that came with a price tag. It is literally